Hey, what's up, crypto media friends? Welcome back to the Double Overtime show here at the studio lot here in Los Angeles. Wanted to get into a couple of projects I think that are super awesome right now, because that's what we do. Looking for value, looking for, as creators, how do we incorporate value into our own projects? How do we examine as collectors and find value? And it was nice to be, like I said in previous episodes, re-engaging with Craniums. With your Craniums, being something that's a bit more established at the precipice of NFT land. It's interesting because you're just like, oh wow, these great projects. They all have roadmaps of promises. It was really nice to jump into a project that is midway through that roadmap and delivering on the promises. It was just the value is insane. Here's my my reveal. You hit that little as you're getting the reveal. If you don't know, you have to go to OpenSea and got to hit that little circular arrow there to refresh your metadata, and then it'll drop. Usually about 2 minutes or so. Come back and then refresh your browser. And here is what I got. I got an amazing Wicked Craniums Haylos collab, and by Krisky, and it's just an artist that I've been following and looking at. Haylos is kind of is the pseudonym, but is also being tracked by a lot of great collectors right now. And so having them collab together, honestly, this is probably one of the best drops I've seen in NFTs. Just how appreciative the community was for these was off the charts, because the execution of this is fantastic. It's a great collab with a great artist, and giving them sort of free reign to leverage their vision of the world. Because if you looked at this, you'd be like, yeah, this is a Haylos, and that's strong. That's saying something about an artist and the freedom that they gave him to collaborate with. Now, here's some of the other ones. And you can see, just the floor being 0.1 easy, 0.12. And so, just the variation and the execution. This is the best drop I think I've seen in NFTs to date. Like, just a great collab, and the value and the execution is so strong. Please like, subscribe, or put in the comments down below if you've seen a better one. Let me know what one that is, because this was really outstanding, and it just brought so much to that community, who I term as a nice cool leather jacket. Just sort of like nice worn like vintage leather jacket. You just step into, you're like, this feels good, this feels amazing, because the community is just it's a bit refined. There's nobody who's there who's shilling, and they just want and expect out of the project good things. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But I wanted to also chat about Karura staking. Akala launching its first liquid staking product for Polkadot and the Kusama network. I get a lot of questions about this, and this is why I'm talking about it. I get a lot of questions about, like, oh, how do I get in super early so that I get the 100x gains or the 20x gains on coins in DeFi? And it is these exact scenarios. Everyone kept asking me about Uniswap. Funny enough, I was coming out of the Wicked Craniums event, and I bought some cookies, and I'm standing there, and the guy next to me is like, man, I really wish I would have known about Uniswap. I kept hearing about it. I didn't know if I should buy it. And he was like, I heard there were so many cool things that happened, and there were a lot of cool things that happened. They dropped a bunch of tokens on us, and we expected that because we put in very early money as stakers, as liquidity providers, and everything that you see in the ETH network, or the Ethereum network, is going to be here and existing in Polkadot and Kusama. Now, you'll hear this a dozen times, but Polkadot is sort of the big brother. It's not even live yet. It's a top 10 token, and it's not even live yet. That's how much promise that people have, for the Polkadot system. The canary of that, the sort of the test net that is active, that is you can exchange funds and lose and make money on, is Kusama. And so on Kusama, they have their version of Uniswap, which is Karura. And these names are all like, they sound retarded now, or stupid now, sorry, but it's like, get used to them. These are going to be the names: Akala, Kusama, Karura. These are going to be the names that you're going to wish you had in your bags, because they are the decentralized finance bone structure for these juggernauts that are coming to the blockchain. So Akala is sort of the big brother. They're sort of on the level of Polkadot. Under them, they have Karura, which is working on the Kusama network, and they're bringing staking and liquidity pool into their services. And so launching today, and I checked it out, and it's there and it works. They've already had quite a bit staking because there's a lot of people who want to get their money working for them. It's a great way to hodl, obviously, to hold on to something that you believe in, and allow it to grow. And so you'll get 16%, which is quite good. It's a little bit better than the current staking for if you were doing a proof of stake with the Ethereum network, which is roughly 7-10% right now, guys. So 16% isn't bad, but here's the great part about, and the powerful part about the liquidity pool aspect to it, is that you can leverage it. And I'll go through this a few times, and I'll go through this more advanced. Sorry, I don't have as much time right now to go in and show you how to do it, but I'll do it before hopefully it ends, so that you can get into it, because it's very powerful. So the you'll receive, just for staking, you say, hey, hold on, I'm gonna stake my KSM here. You're gonna get LKSM. Now you can take that LKSM and you can put it into a liquidity pool with KSM. And so that means you'll be making a vig on trading back and forth. Utilizing your money, you'll get a small percentage of that. And the current APY for that is about 69%, which is okay. It was, it's solid. There isn't too many offerings like something as more developed as Osmosis that I talk a lot about, having and staking Atom. With AKT and some other great quality projects we talk about here on the show, and so let me see if I can find a better thing here. Note that unbonding is not active, so you'll bond and you'll stake, but they have no plans to unbond at the moment because they really want the money in. It'll come, but at the moment they just don't want people vacillating in and out. And so excited to be the first node operator. And so you can stake Kusama, you receive LKSM. You can take that LKSM and put it into a liquidity pool, and that will yield you roughly about 69% APY. Now that's the thing, is like you'll be earning that percent in terms of return on those specific coins. But additionally, the value of those coins, we expect, while you stake, to rise. And that's why a lot of people who hodl like to stake, to sort of gain that extra sort of passive income. And then the liquidity pool, of course, look into impermanent loss. And, there's other videos for that. It's a real thing. I saw it really badly. I got hit hard with Bondly. Bondly, congrats to Bondly for coming back and dragging themselves out of the sewer, because Bondly was hit really, really hard, and they looked like they were down for the count, and that dragged my liquidity pool with ETH to the floor. It was worth nothing. Both became worthless. And so it wasn't like, oh, I have some ETH left. It's just both become worthless. I'm hoping as Bondly comes back, we'll examine, and hopefully that ability to regain the impermanent loss will be actuated. But honestly, it's like still in the gutter, even though it's relatively down to about a fifth of what it was before its crash. It's absolutely near still worthless because it's dragged down the price of my liquidity pool with the ETH. So it was a really strong example of how LP does not always work in your favor, even though I was making some nice percentages. When it tanked, it really drug down my other coin as well, even though that was doing fairly well. And so I'll get into more the precisions about how to execute this stuff and how to walk through the Karura liquidity staking. in another video that's a bit more precise, so we can talk about like the techniques of how to do it, because it is very technical, and that's part of the barrier of decentralized finance. And to some degree, what happens in this next project, which is, I do this live. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. I do this live because this is what's happening right now. This isn't what's happening yesterday. This isn't what's happening this morning. This is what's happening right now. Right now you have a project that just did an AMA. They announced that they're doing liquidity. Not liquidity, but they're doing a token drop, much like Kong's, and very inspired by Kong's. And we'll talk a little bit about sort of some of the players behind this. But with this news of the drop, you have an aspect of decentralized finance within NFTs, and that's kind of, if you've been in this space a while, that's sort of, your wet dream. You're just like, oh God, this is the thing I love about, like, because it is about that commitment and having that ability to say, hey, I really believe in this project, and you stick with this project and you hold this project, and it's gonna make you rich. It's gonna drop tokens on you. It's gonna drop value on you. That is what we want as holders, as collectors. We want things to gain in value. We want things, and that's up to the creators to do. And so I always challenge the creators now that I run into. They're trying to shill me about, like, oh, I've got this NFT project, and I'm saying, how many years have you dedicated to your life with this project? Because this is beyond a drop. I'm expecting people to be in the Discords. The Discords is their life now. And this is how they're communicating to the audience. I expect you to be working on collabs. I expect you to be working on how to bring the value every day onto the project, because we are putting a lot of hard-earned ETH. Like, we were early in, or we're sweating, and we're doing what we can to cobble together this liquidity to buy your NFT. How are you doing the things that we expect beyond the nice art? We're here because we respect the art, but as an active NFT collector and participant, I think we have to acknowledge that you need to make us rich. You need to make us like money, like value. You need to be dropping utility. You need to be making this fun. And there's some that are working on that side, but they're not working on the DeFi side. I think you have to be, when you're making as much money as you are with these, you cannot shirk the responsibility to the NFT holders. And I think that that's what sort of gets me a bit angry. We talk about how much money these things make. When you drop an NFT project, you make $2 million, guys. $2 million when you drop the project. In the secondary market, these guys on the AMA for bears, they were happy as hell. They were the most accommodating, amiable dudes you'd ever meet, because they are making so much money in the secondary market right now. They're making 5% directly into their own wallets, and then into their treasury, they're getting another lump sum. I saw that the Nouns, very recent project, has it's a huge juggernaut, mind you, but they have $25 million in their treasury. They don't know what to do with that much money. They're like, does anybody have any ideas? Tweet me, message me if you have an idea. We'll give you an ETH, and we'll make it fun. That's the thing. They're just sitting on the money, and I see some of the other projects are spending that money. I've seen some pretty sweet pads, some pretty sweet pimped out pads from some of these owners, and some pretty sweet swag that they've created. With a lot of these NFT owners' money. How are you adding that value back into the community? The collabs. We want the collabs. We want the DeFi, and so there's a lot of pressure, I think, for. And the expectations should be higher for these NFTs, because if you're going to do the roadmap thing, you're going to make all these promises. I want to see them done. I want to see how these things. I want them to pan out, because these are investments in a sense. They're collectibles with a valuation and utility, and an evaluation and utility, which I try and do here in the channel. I try and say, like, okay, who are the owners, or who are the creators? What is it that's special about this project? And Bears Deluxe is going through the roof because they are offering to drop these coins called honey on you. What does it mean? Nobody quite knows yet. But during the AMA, I did hear them out, and even they had very level expectations, and you can see it going parabolic right now. Level expectations of what this means. I love this guy wearing the cool cat's hat. and their expectations are, I think that a very traditional roadmap that we're looking at, Sandbox. Everyone keeps talking about Sandbox because Sandbox is reaching out to everybody. And so they say, oh, look, I've got a Sandbox collab. Well, thank you very much for taking the call from Sandbox, or accepting that email and replying. But what is the value? And so, that couldn't really be placed. So that gives me a bit of caution. I will say I respect that, they're approaching. You can see the success of adding DeFi into Kongs, and they're trying to. Word is they had some help from, or I don't. This is real speculation. This is like Discord just chatter, and this is how this project sort of blew up. Was everyone was talking about? Oh my gosh, they're adding this DeFi thing to it. They're going to be dropping tokens, and who doesn't want tokens? As a holder of this thing, I want to be enriched. Drop me some coins, man. But what are they going to be used for? What's the utility? The tokenomics, etc. There's a lot of use cases that people believe that they have in their head, but that's what was nice about Craniums, man. They were kind of in the middle of it, and they were delivering well and executing well. And so look for more projects like that. But yes, I jumped into this because I was just like, it's an example. It's kind of landmark. This is the second sort of big project that's going to approach it. That's getting a lot of hype from Elio trades, and he was super excited about the honey. And so the floor it's pretty thin going up to 4. So I think it'll jump right into 4. There'll be another resistance at 5. There's always that sort of 0.5 sort of mentality, if you will. But a lot of people that put their rarities, a couple days ago or a day ago, that's the thing about sort of times like this. As it goes parabolic, you have a lot of people who were a couple days ago trying to sell their rarities relative to their reality on that day, and so that could be just here. And so as this floor comes up, it's like just below this, it's like just above the floor, potentially it could be some really great rarities. And that's always kind of where I end up looking. I look for the rarities that are just above the floor potentially, because I start there, obviously as I keep saying, I hang my hat on a rarity that I think is kind of cool in the project. And there's kind of, a lot of fun little things. I dug the crown. I was like, the crown's fun. There's 123 of those out of a collection, and so I was like, that's a fun one. And then so using rarity tools, I found again, I kept my limits of how much I'm going to spend fairly low, relatively low, and because these go 5-10 ETH for the crowns, and so I found one and probably listed not during the sort of the run up. And so I just love this guy because I don't know, he has the crown and he has the glasses. It just looks, I don't know, like Down with the King just sort of hit my head, the old Run DMC song. And with the hoodie, I was just like, this is such a cool one. And so I was like, okay, this is the one for me. So added to the collection. And again, it's just going to be interesting to sort of see what the value is of the honey. That's the thing about the Uniswap drop. I think it's a bit clearer what we understood when we got those drops, what the value was, because we could see the platform growing. Here it's a bit more speculative, and it really relies on the backs of the creators. And so I keep pushing this back onto examining the creators, and because I feel like us as creators, as we make these things, we need to understand the value, the utility, the things that make these collectibles more interesting in this space. If it's just about the JPEG, it's just like let's just get the Funko dolls and let's just take pictures of those. This is about utilizing the space and finding utility in inventive ways, and certainly marrying DeFi, because that's where a lot of us are coming from, and we love that space, and we love the ability to show that we were in early, that we had vision, and that we believe in a project. And when we are able to do that, get in at a good price and stay in low, watch it go up, watch that floor go up, that's awesome. But during that, I want to get stuff the whole time. I want to get games. I want to get stuff to do. I want to get new friends that I can hang out with. I want the value that's possible in this space. And I think that any project that isn't willing to deliver on that needs to really re-examine what they're doing in this project, because I keep hearing a lot of shills from a lot of projects who just want that initial $2 million drop and they want to peace out, and they just want to believe that they're going to get somebody in the Discords that's going to hype them up. They're going to get some cool mods who are going to hype up, and put a bunch of gifts that, are going to continually, excite people and motivate people to rise that floor and sweep up your floor, your soggy floor that you haven't managed to care for by just being negligent about, providing value and adding value at every step, every day. I feel like it's just, you owe it to the people that put this money into your project. And so that's my rant. But if you guys are finding other great utility, please put in the comments section, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, because I do this live so that you can have these opportunities to sort of see it with me as it goes. And because I'm sorry if you're seeing this in 3 weeks and the floor is at 1 ETH, and like it's it's sort of almost pointless. But this is kind of what happens is I'll sort of get the pings and sort of get into the conversations about certain projects, and sort of see, like yesterday, Sad Girls Bar was just like, you could see sort of, I was just like, the collection dropped and people were sharing, like, oh wow, this is cool, and I was like, oh, that collection, I remember that, and I re-examined it and I was like, this is super cool, holy cow. The collection ended up way better than the samples, the free little previews that I had seen. So I got in on that project, and you can see sort of, it doing well. Slight difference here. This is more of a, one of those fun looking ones like Kongs. And just like, you look at Kongs, you're like, I wouldn't, buy that JPEG. But as a project, they're adding utility and value in a new way that the space can accommodate for. And so that's important. And, this being a good prime example of that. I don't know if it's just the second ever, but certainly one that there's a lot of promise for, and certainly from people who are influencers, but I think also just people who know the space really well. We're very excited about adding this utility to this project, and so something to kind of keep an eye on. I'll be keeping an eye on it for you, obviously, here, as I got some skin in the game with my Down with the King guy here. But like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and hit me in the comments, man, of just about like, projects where you're seeing value. Where are you seeing the utility? What has an NFT done for you lately? Is what I want to know. Thanks, guys.